And you could argue that there are other things you get in university. The point here is at what cost. People are going to college, studying, and then when they come out of college, the job market is not ready for what they studied. So they have to go to other fields, right? So you find people doing things that they're probably not interested in. Just about, 10% of our engineering class actually do whatever we studied in school, right? People went to do other things, softwares, marketing. You're a glorified salesman.
Are you kidding me? Charles, you've been holding the mic. Welcome to Two Mics. My name is Kelvin Moretti.
And I'm Charles Mbugwa.
So good, Charles, I'm curious. The fact that we're having, very young guys making a lot of money, the kind of money that people work their entire careers to get, and I think a lot of times they don't even get the kind of money that the tech bros are getting right now. Is that the reason for why you think education is not worth it, Charles?
I know now why politicians usually hate certain kinds of the way people phrase questions. Is that a question? What question was it?
You see, the thing is, you mentioned that you do not believe that degrees are worth it. And this is a sentiment that I think has been very pervasive, right? We've seen Elon Musk saying this. We've seen Peter Thiel even paying people to get out of college. I'm just curious, Charles, if that is a sentiment that you share, that you don't believe that college education is worth it.
So, if you ask me, actually, this is not my initial idea. I'm ready before, because our listeners don't know we had a conversation before this whole story started.
You don't have to tell them.
But I was just trying to find out. This is something I've been thinking about, and I can give a bit of a background. So last year, Ruto's government removed subsidies from university.
Yeah.
And, the four of us here, we were in college at the same time, university at the same time. And, we were all on government, because none of us went through private means. We all went through government, and we did engineering, actuarial science, and all those things. And our school fees, maybe per year, did not cross 60,000, right? Yeah, it was really cheap, and that's because, and this is from when? From the 1960s? No. Yeah, before it was even way cheaper. I remember, I know I've heard stories of how people used to gather at Boost, and they would educate their entire families, or even transform their village just based on the boost they used to get. So we have a situation here right now where almost everyone is paying the amount of money that private students used to pay when we were in college. And here's the thing. So you find, us, we did engineering, right? And the college fees right now, I'm not sure. I just saw screenshots of what people were going to pay, but it was a tune of 100,000, 200,000.
It was what para guys used to pay.
Yeah. This is help students. There's no subsidy at all. You'll be given help, but I don't know how much help people will be given, because even if you're given what were you being given during what time? 35k per year. Yeah, that's the least. If you get 35k per year and you have 100k to pay, and that means you're still paying the bulk of it, right? And at the same time, when you look at how we've done, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine recently about, Kenya, there's no problem of jobs per se. The employment rate is not so bad. It's only that a lot of people are doing jobs they would rather not do. So,
Charles, that's one of the most.
Okay, fine. I'm not going to dwell on that, because I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But the fact
is, you could not. You could be. You are wrong.
Okay, fine. I am wrong.
Yeah.
But the truth is, people are going to college, studying, and then when they come out of college, the job market is not ready for what they studied. So they have to go to other fields, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you find people doing things that they're probably not interested in. And even us who did engineering, what people would consider prestigious courses, a lot of us got into fields that are really not what we studied. I can, if I can give an approximate, just about, 10% of our engineering class actually do whatever we studied in school, right? People went to do other things, softwares, marketing. You're a glorified salesman, in a big company. So the thing is, we are not doing the core of what we studied, right? And,
but yeah, I
and you could argue that there are other things you get in university. That's true. The point here is at what cost. And I have actually been thinking about how right now going to college for some families, I've been hearing how it's so expensive for some people, knowing how this country is, we are a third world country, and it's hard actually to get 200K per year to take your. Me and my bro, we were twins. We were both doing engineering. I was doing the mathematics of what my dad could have paid when we were in campus. It was just a lot of money. So here's the thing. We are in a situation almost as if what the US does, like how parents start saving for their children's college fees since the time they are young. And it's something that almost everybody, all Americans talk about, right? Like we have to think about how our kids are going to go to college since they are small. And when you ask me, you do that mathematics and you're like, okay, fine. I'm going to pay all this money in 4 years, 5 years.
So are you saying
Mureti,
that
I'm saying
as a parent,
yeah.
that so is your point that the traditional degrees, because I feel like you're belaboring the point so much. So I'm just curious, are you saying that the traditional degrees are and the traditional formal education is outdated, it's no longer relevant, and especially because of the pricing?
I'll get there.
And assuming because I feel like you, of course, what informed this from what you're saying is the fact that the education cost went up. So if it was not that expensive, if it was the same price as what you used to pay for it, would your opinion be different?
Yeah, okay, fine. That's one aspect, right? The other aspect is you spend these 4 years in college, 5 years, only to come outside and do something that didn't need you to get you didn't need a college degree to do. The reason I'm saying that is Kitambo, maybe during the time of our parents, they'd finish college, the market was ready for them, it would absorb them, and that's not the same situation right now. No, Mureti, you're telling me to hurry up, but you're going to miss the context. No, you're missing the background I'm trying to give you for the conversation we're about to have. So you get to a point where, for example, this is something, I don't know if it's you or anyone I was talking to about, like the last year's candidate, top KCSE candidate, was like, I want to do computer science in an international school when I grow up, right? That's KCP, sorry, not KCSE. And I'm thinking, nowadays, there are so many ways to get to a certain point that are not the way things used to happen before. For example, I know, that there are a lot of, I am in tech side, right? So I know a lot of, for you to get into tech nowadays, you can literally not have a college degree. I think I shared with you about that guy in Microsoft who was a food scientist. I shared with you, I think last week. So you find people who are coming straight from college. You can go to university, yes, to study computer science, computer engineering. But when you go to the job market, they literally don't care what you did.
Yes, but just...
And this is
you need
one
to have
thing.
an understanding. You need to have an understanding also of what the process of doing a degree is, right?
Mureti, you remember
Because-
I said
because of the simple reason,
Remember
Charles.
I said the other things you get in college
Yeah,
that I actually think
I get that.
could be reasons, but I also think if you didn't go to campus,
I get
you
that.
may not even miss.
I get that, but you realize also the degree process is also one expensive HR sifting system. Yeah, right. So
And that's going to be
so that-
absolute if you ask me.
in the sense that as a company, the reason why I'll say I need you to have a degree at the foundation of it. The main reason why this company would say I want someone to have a degree, and remember that we've seen companies where they have a policy of hiring non-degree holders, and these people deliver, right? But ni patapotea. But at least if this person has a degree, this person has gone through the system, this person has gone through the system of getting recruited into the degree. There's an aptitude process that is government censored, that is university censored. So at least I can, as a company with a certain degree of accuracy, say that Titus is a good hire. And then we bring Titus A, Titus B, Titus C, and we have a discussion and see if this person is worth my hiring. But if that was not the case, I would have to choose from 40 million Kenyans, right? And that's the whole point of the degree in education, formal education. Because if you go back a few years back, during the times of Kina Dale Carnegie, Kina Carnegie, and when industry was beginning, before degrees were a thing, we still used to have lawyers, we still used to have doctors, we still used to have accountants. They did not go through university. But they still were doctors and lawyers and all these things. So my point is, the whole thing of degrees came about to serve industry. That's my point.
First of all, to correct you, people went to university. People went to universities, but probably not in the large scale that we usually have right now. But I wanted to agree with you that we do need those institutions. The university, for example, that's the institution we're talking about right now. And we need it for the simple reason that we need a system that is functional. Because if we do not have a system where we can check who knows what is going on, then what are we doing? Like, how do you sift through 200,000 people?
Let me rephrase this conversation.
Five.
Let me rephrase this conversation in a different way.
Even if we can rephrase it, Charles, let me also counter that by saying, remember Tesla did not have a degree.
Who?
Tesla.
Oh, okay.
Remember, no. Let me give you a few examples. No.
Yeah,
but
those are outliers. You can easily say Isaac Newton didn't have a degree.
I get what you're saying, but I think looking back, in retrospect, we might look at them as outliers, but I can tell you for a fact, a lot of these things that used to happen back then, these people did not used to have degrees in these things that they were doing.
Actually,
degrees, universities is a phenomenon that started probably in the latest 1700, 1800, but we have technology that predates these things.
Okay, fine.
Actually, just to correct you, universities are a very old thing. A very old thing. What is new is what came with this. Is it the Industrial Revolution? That is what is new. But universities, in terms of education, people used to do philosophy, all kind of things. But the kind of university that we know right now, probably I think that's what you mean, right?
Okay. Can you?
I'm talking about university in the modern sense. In the modern sense of you have to go through the system, study, and then you have to qualify for university. But I'm just saying, when it comes to the Wright brothers invented a plane, an airplane. No. But the whole principle, without really.
Okay, fine, guys.
For you to be able to do things, you don't need to sit through a class to do it, and that's what I'm saying, and that is why I'm saying, Kevin, wishing away university, in the modern sense, it sounds a bit reckless, because we need a standard.
Let me rephrase my thoughts again. So I talked about the cost of education and all those things, and the fact that we all did courses that I think only Tito is practicing what he did. The rest of us are not practicing what we did. So actually, even Tito, once you're done with actuarial, you need to do other papers, those actuarial papers, right? I think there are certain courses, or there are certain professional lines of careers. For example, medicine. I'd really like it. If I was going to be on an operating table, I want the person who's operating on me to be someone who's been trained. They know how to do it, right? And I want a certified way of knowing that. But I think nowadays, and this is also, in a sense, whenever I hear stories of parents who their kids did not get A's, maybe they got different grades, and they're sort of feeling defeated, and I actually think, especially when it comes to tech, I do think there's still a lot of people who don't understand that this is something that, and actually, also, before continuing, I think there is a sense in which,
you're interjecting yourself.
Yeah. It's cause my thoughts. Yeah. It's my. Yeah.
You're all over the place, Charles.
You see something like,
structure your mind.
Like the way I see
Charles,
things.
take a minute and
Yeah. The way I see things nowadays is a lot of people still think that there are I think people don't see that there are so many ways, there are so many other things to do right now that are not traditional. Let me give you an example. Tech is one thing, right? The fact that you can self-teach, you can teach yourself, and you can actually apply for a job and all those things. Let me give you another example, right? Social media influencing. Things like things like in the media, things like
Yes, there's what's been tried and tested. People know, for the most part, I'm more likely to be successful if I go through an educational institution than just throwing a dart in the dark and hoping to hit a bullseye.
That's
when it
true.
comes to things
That's
like
correct.
being a social media influencer, like hizo zinakwanga very niche.
I agree.
So I can't, as a parent, I can't bank on that.
I agree. Here's the thing. I'm actually not bashing universities, and I'm not bashing degrees. What I'm simply trying to say is, there are other ways to make it in this life if you don't make it to go to university. And
that is not what you started by saying.
Just hold on a bit. There are certain ways. Look, I think there are ways. For example, if you ask me, apart from meeting you guys in campus, and I made some good friends in campus, and I had a good time in campus. But you guys, like, I really wish I didn't tell the listeners this. I really struggled in campus. Marity, you saw it.
Obviously.
But sometimes I ask myself, what if what I'm doing right now, what if I just started training myself after campus? You actually, there's a time in campus when I dropped out, right? And
I get your point.
Hold on a bit.
I get your point that there are things...
Moretti, could you just hold on a bit? My message, my point here is especially to people who want to dare to do something that is unconventional with what the society wants. The proliferation... Oh my goodness. The proliferation of so many... Like, there are so many people with degrees right now who are jobless or do things they don't want to do. And the fact that you got into so much debt and then you end up in this situation only because you thought the degree is the only way out, while in fact you could have avoided that degree, taken a huge risk, and done something you really want to do and become good at it. And you see, the thing is, it just involves a lot of risk. I'm just asking, because you see, the reason, let me tell you what stops a lot of people. It's the fact that you think, and this is the reason why when I dropped it and got back to campus, is the fact that someone actually told me that nobody's going to be willing to listen to you without a degree. And it's true. When I finished campus, my first few jobs, people needed to see that I had a degree.
And it's for the simple reason.
But look,
Charles, it's for the simple reason I was telling you. Remember our system. Look at yourself as an employer, right? Hear me out.
If I'm employed right now, if I'm employing someone right now, I don't want to see their degree.
Fair enough. That is you. But I'm saying, majority of the employers, when they're hiring, I don't know this person. Personally, I've conducted interviews. And I realized the reason why we ask for degrees or this qualification is because, yes, I would want to hire an outlier or someone who was very good but didn't get an opportunity to get through university. But then, the unfortunate situation, the unfortunate reality of life is I might never be able to know who they are. But at least our economic system, our education system has provided us a sifting.
I think there's a way
Just
to know.
allow me
I
to
think
make
there's a
my
way to
point.
know.
Allow me to make my point, Charles. So our education system and our financial system has allowed us a system to sift through, quote unquote, the chaff, to come up with a few people. Nobody is assuring you that they are the best. That is, I can assure you, for that job that you do, it's probably someone who would have done that job better. But imagine whatever you do is sufficient to achieve whatever the organization wants to achieve, right? So that my point becomes, we cannot wish away degrees.
Okay, Tito, can I go?
Point of correction. No one could have done what I do better. That's why I'm here.
That's why they have him.
That's exactly why I'm here.
I mean,
I'm sure before I would have been fired a long time ago.
Before they employed Tito, there was a competitive process.
There was a
and they told guys, look, we found a better candidate than all.
I emerged the top candidate in East and Central Africa. So no
for
idea what
reasons,
you're talking about.
Amongst you emerged the best amongst the people who were picked. That does not mean you're the best.
The ones who are not there did not have degrees.
Yes. So that my point is.
No.
My point is, at least we need a sifting method.
Okay, Muretti.
You have to remember.
Here's the thing.
And that's why I tell people, don't bash the police, don't bash the judges and all these and the politicians. For inefficiencies in how things work. It's because systems help society work.
Okay, fine.
We are socialized.
Look. I agree with you. You know, the thing is, I agree with you, but I'm going to also challenge you a bit here. You see, you're telling me how people need systems and like degrees are important to do the sifting. Haven't we done that already for all these years? And you see, that is such a, for lack of better, that is such a, let me say, like a boomers and like old school kind of thinking that I don't think is going to be sustainable in the future. No. It's not just about being a Gen Z. It's about, I'm saying it's
Charles,
not just about being a Gen Z.
Okay,
it's
we
the
get
reality.
that. We get that. So the question is,
Mhm.
what does the alternative look like?
The alternative, I think, in my opinion, looks like this. And by the, you guys know I'm a fan of just as a small diversion. If I've ever had a conversation with you guys about blockchain and Bitcoin, I'm a big
Are you
fan.
kidding me?
Just I've told
Are
you it's
you
a diversion.
kidding me? Do you know how many industries exist in the world, Charles? There's tech, there's agriculture, there's space, there's pornography, there's literally music, there's ministry. Charles, the number of industries that exist that do not care about blockchain and tech are innumerable. There's
So
agriculture.
what's your point?
There's your industry.
So what's your point?
Science.
So what's your point?
So my point is, Charles, you're telling us that, we can now become tech and start coding.
Guys, but
Charles,
you see,
we all can't code. We need doctors. We need accountants.
So we've had your
So,
point,
Charles,
but
it's a bit-
I've not finished
it's
what
a
I'm
bit
saying.
narrow-minded.
Okay.
It's a bit
could I
narrow-minded
finish
for
what
you
I'm
to
saying?
assume.
Could I finish what I'm saying? No, just a minute. Let me.
Charles, you've been holding the mic. Give him the mic.
No. Let me. Guys,
No one has taken away your mic.
Yeah, you see, here's the thing. This is actually a classic Muretti kind of
Are you
approach
kidding
to
me?
our discussions where he interrupts me. You see, the thing is, you guys talked about chaos. I was giving you another form of chaos just to prove to you guys that I really don't care about chaos. Actually, chaos can be good in certain scenarios. And I was giving you an example of the way most people who, like, let me call them people who don't understand, okay, even people who do understand cryptocurrency and all those things, if it works correctly, it's basically going to introduce chaos, and that chaos is necessary. And if you ask me, if we remove this system of decrees and all those things, it's going to cause chaos, yes, but that is needed chaos. Sometimes chaos is good for a reorganization of things.
So, Charles, I
that
think
things...
I need to agree with you on something, yeah?
Okay, but before you do that, now you see why I am against Muretti interrupting me all the time, because it does not wait for someone to finish the ideas, and he already has na ameshafikiria.
I also agree with you on that one.
Kuna ka kitu kanamuashanga akisikia nikiongea about tech.
I'm with you on that one. But I wanted to add and say that I think you're right in the sense that part of what we are seeing cannot remain the way it has been.
And actually it will not.
And it will not. And thanks to the information age and the power of the internet.
Exactly. Tell Muretti to listen keenly when you're talking.
You're reminding me of this book I had from Naval, The Sovereign Individual. And they're just talking about how the information age is going to shift things around. Because right now you don't have like limited access to knowledge. Yes, you might have limited access
You don't
to
have to go to the library
you don't have to
read.
go to JQuat to learn about coding. You can do that in your house. And the end product of your knowledge of coding will be the product you create, not necessarily an exam.
And that's
you
all
learn.
people care about.
So it's all what of course it's a domain of, it's a very interesting domain where it's the successful product that counts. But what we have now is like we have very, very significant and large access to that power of information, to that ability to create this product, and that's definitely going to create a market. Moretti, that's definitely going to create a market for that kind of people. So self-taught people, and it's already there.
And do you think it's only in tech that is going to exist?
That's the other thing I wanted to correct Moretti when he was speaking very fast. because it's not just.
You
It's
need
not just.
you need to
it's not
learn
just
how to
tech
listen,
knowledge.
Moret.
Because let me tell you, even what coding is, it's a language. A language in itself is nothing. It's like a language. It's like English.
I agree.
You go to school to learn English, but you need to communicate something. So it's the same thing. Same thing in work. I use Python. I use R. These are all programming languages.
Kitambo
I
Chiro
use them
didn't need
because
them.
there is something I'm trying to communicate.
And were people in the past using? Are you taught that in school to use Python, to use R? Is it
Definitely.
something people in the past did for them to achieve Chiro standards?
Of course not.
So you see the thing. What I'm simply trying to tell you is, in the future, someone is going to show up at Tito's workplace without all these things, but is going to demonstrate how, if I bring R and my Python skills to the table, I can make your company more successful
The other
than
question.
it is.
The other
And
question,
that person will be given a job faster than someone who's just gone through a university degree, has a first class in actuarial science, and does not know how to do R. And nowadays, actuarial science, it's not just about Excel sheets and doing actuarial papers. You have to know a little bit more. And Mureti,
question number 2.
could you first demonstrate that you've comprehended what Tito and I have said?
Yes.
Because you seemed so quick to talk.
You see, Charles, without just even going straight to my jugular, I would point out this, Charles. I agree with you. The world has changed.
What do you agree?
That the world has changed.
What is that? What does that
In
mean?
the sense that even in some of the most mundane traditional courses or for vocation, tech has proliferated, right? That's the first point. Secondly, we have a wide access to information, right? Things like culinary. Right now, I can list, if I wanted to make a Mongolian dish, I can make it just like that. So that's the first point. I agree with you on that. But then my question is this. The reason why degrees exist is, or at least some certifications, is proof of skill.
And that's why
Charles,
why I say your thinking is very boomer-like
Allow me
and
to
1960s
make
like.
my point. I agree with you, Charles.
Yeah, and it's
I
not
know you have a
sustainable.
beard and you think you're very smart, but
It's not about me thinking. I think you're the one who thinks I'm smart. I don't think I'm smart, but it's fine. Thank you.
Look,
Do you know how people these are proving skills? You develop an app. You develop an app.
are you kidding me?
Something functional.
Are you kidding me?
So,
you're telling me.
Moretti, are you?
So every time we are
Moretti,
having
do you want me?
an
do-
interview process, everybody has to bring their app.
No, that was an example. Come on.
But then, you're laughing, but that's exactly what some people want.
In tech.
Yes,
But then I'm asking,
Not just in
I'm
tech.
hiring my nanny. So you're telling me my nanny has to bring an app?
Oh, if I have-
are you kidding
if
me?
I have
I am
10 nannies-
hiring my doctor.
Moretti.
I'm hiring doctors for a position for senior surgeon
Moretti.
in my hospital. So you
Moretti.
tell me that I have to bring
Moretti.
every doctor
Here-
that is in this panel
here-
has to bring an app.
No.
Are you serious?
Here is the way it works, Moretti. I'm hiring a nanny. I am hiring a
Surgeon.
nanny.
Go,
It's
surgeon.
okay. Yeah, I'm hiring a nanny. I'm hiring a surgeon. Whoever, call it whatever you want. I have 10 people. And someone shows me exceptional ability by bringing this thing, whether it's an app, whether it's something they did, and it makes them stand out from the rest. I'm definitely hiring that person.
But even the surgeon squeezing,
I don't care.
If
Even
he has
surgeons
the
nowadays.
skill of using easy machines to
Yeah,
do the
if
surgery.
he's good, if he's just slightly better
I
than
get
these
that,
other
but
people,
you see,
that's something that distinguishes
let us
all of
not
them.
lose sight to the core of what I'm hiring for.
You know,
That's what I'm
Moretti,
saying.
I think you should
So,
just go work in a rail
you see,
station
what I'm
because
saying-
that's where old people are, and you
I'm
can
saying,
just.
let us not lose sight for the tradition, for the base of what I'm hiring for. If I'm hiring a surgeon, I'm hiring someone who I know has a skill of opening up people. So it doesn't matter how good you are with Python or C++. We are talking about someone who I'm hiring to be able to do the surgery. So two things need to happen. I need someone who is able to do the surgery, and I need someone who can prove to me that they can do the surgery. And so, for me to prove that this person can do a surgery, I would need to sit them on an operating table doing the surgery on a person. Unfortunately, that is not a luxury I have. I cannot bring a random person to sit on the table to do the surgery for me. So, therefore, I need a system of sifting, of assuring me that you have the skill. What other system is there than someone who's gone through the system and giving me a paper?
I thought just crossed my mind that I think in the next few years, formal education will be for the weak. Like, if you just want to be lifted through the system, somehow to get your papers
Tito,
and all that.
Are you telling me
In the
that
next few years,
you'd be okay being operated on your heart by someone who did not go through university for that skill?
So, first of all,
Are you telling
I
me-
think, Moretti,
Are you
I
telling
think
me,
there's a
Tito-
distinction we need to make.
Tito, are you telling me you'd be okay with a
Let me
lawyer,
finish what I'm saying.
a self-taught lawyer?
There's a distinction we need to make, that all these careers are not equal. All these careers are not equal. That there are some professionals, there's some careers which you need specialized skills. You need the institution.
Then we agree.
But that's not everywhere.
Then, of course, for tech,
That's not
some
everywhere.
random. My grandmother can start coding right now and she'll be good in a few months. But then I'm saying, if I'm hiring a driver, if I'm hiring a pilot, if I'm hiring a surgeon, I need to be sure that you know what you're doing. That is my point, and that is the point of university. Tito.
Moretti, you know, you
That is my point.
okay, by the way, unajua kuna venye you can infuriate someone. It's not because you don't understand what we are saying. I think it's just that there's a way you like stonewall your thinking so that it doesn't go past a certain point. we actually did say that there are certain specializations that will still need degrees. When I'm going on an operating table, I need to know whoever is coming is going to be, he has all the right qualifications, has the right training. What you're simply trying to say, Moretti, and we are going back to the original, what we were talking about, is if in the year 2023 going forward, in the year 2023, 2024 going forward, if you're going to not afford going to campus, or if you're going to find it so expensive to go to campus, I'm not in a position like maybe I don't know where people are, and I know degrees are still held in a high standard. I'm guessing if God willing I have children and maybe they're going to campus, or maybe they get to the edge of going to campus in the year 2030. For me, I just hope 2050, sorry.
Okay.
I just hope the way society works. I hope the way society will work. It's okay.
10-year-old graduates.
We could be geniuses. But look, Moretti, I don't know where society will be at that point. But honestly, sometimes I really ask myself the question, will there be real value in going to get that degree? If they want to do medicine, fine, they'll go. But in case they want to do anything else, like let me give you a simple example. I mean, the guy called Khalif Cairo elicits all kinds of emotions depending on who you talk about. But this is a guy who is running his own businesses without a university degree and is doing quite well. And we have a lot of guys who are doing BCom, BBIT, business kind of courses who are not able to do what he does. And he's not the only person. Moretti, just look at all these
I'll
people.
give you a story.
Just listen.
Let me give you a funny story.
Could you just listen a little bit?
Let me give you a funny story about Khalif Cairo. So I used to work in the bank many years back. When I finished high school, I was lucky to get a job in a bank, Equity Bank. Of course, I was the top student in our district, so I got the opportunity to work in a bank. Equity
No
Bank
wonder
as a
not
teller.
degrees, man.
So I'm just trying to say I started.
Insecure overachiever.
Okay, there you go. Fine. Go hang. So, anyway, there's this guy. That's besides the point. There's this guy who used to come to. Please don't put that part. It will sound very braggadocious. Please. Me saying how I worked for Equity Bank.
But no, why have it in the podcast?
So anyway, when I used to work in the bank, there's a guy who used to come to my desk. This guy would easily, in a day, he used to come daily. That time I was working in corporate. So corporate, you're dealing with the high net worth individuals. So this guy would easily per day bring 600 a million per day, right? Shillings to deposit. That's the sales for the day. And then one day he asks me, Kevin, nikuulize. So I'm busy counting his thousands. He was like, Kevin, nikuulize. Na ni swali tu najiulizanga. Hii kompyuta yako kwa sababu ni yenyewe unaniwekea pesa ikichomeka ama iibiwe, pesa yangu itapotea. This is a guy who's depositing 600,000 per day. This is a rich guy. So now, I started thinking, oh my goodness, if make it make sense. Like, this is someone who. So my point is, education. So there are two things. There are two things to consider. At least my point from this whole thing is, I told him obviously, when you go to Nairobi and withdraw your money, you don't carry my computer to Nairobi to withdraw your money. That means your money is safe somewhere in a cloud, or at least a version of that is what I answered. But the thing is, there are two things. There's formal education that there's a formal education. There's a side of making money. What you're talking about is the example of giving us of Caliph Cairo is someone who's made money outside of the matrix. Granted,
outside of the matrix.
The matrix, what is his good name? It talks about the matrix. Fair enough, granted. But then there is something about education that allows you to socialize, that allows you to work within our system.
You think that guy makes 600K to 1 million and he doesn't understand how to socialize?
No. When I talk about socializing, I'm not talking about literally socializing. When I talk about socializing, I'm talking about socializing with our system.
Oh, you just want... Moretti,
because it's very easy to exploit that kind of a person.
Moretti, I've met people like you.
It's easy to steal money from that kind of a person.
Moretti,
especially if you have basic tech knowledge, you can easily swindle that guy.
I think this is
my point. Especially a system which has become so complicated, so sophisticated, you become very vulnerable if you do not have basic education.
This is
or
just
a basic
the most
understanding of how the system
Moretti,
works.
to be honest, I'd like to be...
Wait just a minute. Like you, we be able to tell you coming to this. Just
you could give. And here's why. Moretti.
Wow, pedestrians now are the enemy. Okay.
If you
all buy cars,
to be honest,
you'd all be rich and wealthy.
As a guy who's in tech, I'm so used to being...
You guys in tech are so
of
entitled.
Course, we are so entitled.
We should all be able to
you should be able.
So we should not be pedestrians.
Moretti, but one thing I came to make peace with in tech is just to get used to being asked the most common pedestrian questions. The truth is, just because you know something that he doesn't know, doesn't mean... You see, here's the thing. You can't do what he does.
What makes you think
can't bring 600 to 1... Do you take 600 to 1 million every day? This guy can do something you can't do. He has knowledge you don't have. You have knowledge he doesn't have. That's how it works, Moretti. Just because you think that... this is the kind of... the other day Cairo was being bashed on Twitter. And guys are just making fun of his English here and there, nini. Kizungu mingi mnataka, na mwezi fanya biashara venye anafanya.
But that's my point. I'm saying there are two sides to the argument.
You go to college to...
None is better than the other.
But you see, Moretti, you're actually saying that...
There are people good at working for the people.
You're actually saying that...
And that is okay.
You're actually saying that because he doesn't know what the computer does, he's a little bit dumber and he should go to school.
No, that is not what I said. Just, if you remember what I said, there are two sides of the story. There's a side of making money. There's a side of academia. So let's not bash either of the sides.
That's why I'm going to go back to the conversation and say...
So let's not try and romanticize lack of education is called in English.
You're not romantic. You see...
Illiteracy. Let's not try and romanticize illiteracy, Charles.
Has anyone heard me romanticizing illiteracy? I am not romanticizing illiteracy. That is what you're
illiteracy. Saying. You're clapping. You're basically saying we should clap for illiteracy.
No.
That's your entire pitch.
And you see, what I'm simply trying to say, in simple terms, so that Moretti can understand, is there's a certain level of education that they think is sufficient, and beyond that, it should be, if you want to pursue that, right now, it could be a PhD or a professor or sometimes even a master's. But here's the thing. I think and again to my initial conversation about university degrees. Yeah, if you can get to Form 4, for example, in the Kenyan system, and be able to express yourself, and not even have perfect English, to be honest, I'm really... And the people who have a problem with people with bad English are people with big degrees in big universities, and basically, they don't understand that there are so many landlords out here, hardware owners, who make quite a lot of money, and they don't even can't speak good English, and we all know them. You've probably met them. But I think there's a certain point. You need a certain level of education in my opinion, I think once it starts getting this crazy expensive, and you're not guaranteed of opportunities that will fulfill your dreams, I think you need to start considering other options.
Okay.
And that is not romanticizing illiteracy. That's just saying that in the current world that we're living in, going forward, you might do yourself a big favor just taking a risk, as many people as possible, and instead of getting into all this debt to get a degree. I mean, if you really know what you're doing, go to university, get that degree. But if you're not sure about it and you think there's something else you can do outside of it, take a risk. That's not romanticizing literacy. That's just being sensible.
We've had you. Good. My parting shot would be this. I think university degrees came in to be checks and balances for our...
I still have one thing you say that I need to correct.
Like that.
I'm going to speak after you. Just finish what you're saying.
No, the next person speaking is...
No, why? When you
No, see, because you have to end up, you cannot have a 3 hours
Mbona uko na shida na mimi kuongea?
No.
Inakuwasha nini?
So, no, listen. So, this is what I'm going to say as my parting shot, Kevin. I think that degrees in universities exist as the checks and balances for the system that we work in. And I agree. If the system changes, obviously you have to change. But as at now, and given the proliferation of individuals, first of all, we are so many. We are 7 billion of us compared to 1 billion or 2 billion back in the day when the education system was being formalized as we are. So we need checks and balances to making sure that when we are hiring, when we are staffing, we are staffing the right kind of people. So universities cannot be wished away. I do not believe that they should be wished away because they help us be able to check and know what we are dealing with. That was my parting shot.
Okay. Conversation. I think my parting shot would be formal education and universities have been the system of checks and balances we have known for the past couple of decades. And I'm not confident that's going to remain as is because society is evolving very fast, but I suspect society is going to reorganize into a new form of checks and balances because humans have a way of doing that everywhere they gather. So I think formal education is very important. So long as someone has not, I actually think formal education should be the way to go. Not unless someone has a very strong incentive or something that can be backed by solid people in terms of ideas and something like that. But generally speaking, I think formal education will be here with us for a long time because society needs to function and formal education plays a big part in the functionality of society. But there is also something that the information age is doing where we are not democratizing knowledge and information, and the barriers to entry, the barriers to access have been almost entirely removed. And that's producing something else entirely. So that's, of course, going to produce something different from what we have known so far. And I can't say I know or even have an idea, but it's definitely going to be something different from what we have known in terms of the whole high school, university work system.
But I need to add something, especially because someone like Mureti is a senior guy at his company. And basically, it's also what they're saying. It's going to change. And Mureti, I hope that if someone comes to you, I don't know, maybe wherever you are, like one day you might be the CEO of Safaricom, and then using that criteria for this guy doesn't have a degree, so let's not even consider them. Even if it's whatever role it is, I think that's going to shoot yourself in the foot. I'm saying that because even right now as I'm speaking, I think there are this system of using degrees to eliminate people. We don't know yet, but who knows how many really good people may have been eliminated from like the chance to be superstars and transform certain businesses.
Let me finish. So so in conclusion, as I finish, thank you so much, guys, for joining us. So I'll say this: the formal education as we know it today was introduced by the big boys in the US. We're talking about the Vanderbilt, Rockefeller. So to help them staff, that's why they invested so much money in the American education system. So because there are two layers. We have who are educated, and then who work for not necessarily who have to be educated, financiers and the investors. But anyway, thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. We've really enjoyed this conversation, and we hope you've also enjoyed it. Charles, we're kicking Charles out the cab. But yeah, we hope you will be joining us in the next conversation. Bye.